Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crowswap.com, a 0x API-based DeFi aggregator that searches over 15 dexes for easy coin swapping of Ethereum-based tokens without the need of an exchange. Don't have Ethereum? That's okay. You can start by buying Ethereum right on the site from our integrated Transact-powered fiat on-ramp. Connect your MetaMask wallet in your browser and get started now. Crow your coins, folks, and I'll see you on Crowswap.com. What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's 3:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am the Crypto Crow. Welcome. I see people popping into chat. This isn't going to be a big Cardano video or a big, even like crypto market video necessarily, because I've gone through so much stuff as it relates to launching a Bitcoin ATM business. I'm still not 100% complete, but I've gone through so many things and discovered so many things and learned so much, and I figured I would do a video today and share it with everybody because I get a lot of messages asking for this video. And so hopefully this will help you. If you look in the description of this video directly below, there's a link to a blog post that I just wrote today. It's kind of a text-based version of some of what I'm going to be going over in this video for those of you that are interested. And then there's some questions in there. And I'm going to go over the questions in this video as well, because there's some real shady practices that I'm seeing that a lot of these Bitcoin operators, or let's just say some of these Bitcoin operators do. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on them, because when I discovered how some of these guys work, I'm like, I don't even know how that's legal, let alone ethical. But I'll let you guys decide when I go over that. But looking at the market, Bitcoin's up at 47,716. There's also a link in the description for Trade the Chain if you are so inclined. I really like this platform. And I like the guys that run the platform because they're always looking at ways to make it better. And this basically kind of gives you an indicator here, 1 hour projected range in USD, kind of gives you an idea as to where the price action is looking to move based off of different indicators and facts. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Cardano looks to be a little weighted towards the downside. Looks to be, it could go up 4.61% or it could go down 4.76%. And it's just tiny, teensy, weensy. Here's the thing, Cardano is, it's sitting at 95 cents. We're going to break $1 soon. I'm pretty confident in that. But anytime I'm super, super confident about an immediate price action, it goes the other way. So shouldn't have said that, because now all of the traders out there are going to start trying to trade on that. But I feel very, very good about it. Polkadot's been in a very neutral position of late. It's up, 7.43% on the 24-hour, which isn't bad, but it's just Cardano is really stealing the thunder from a lot of these other competitive platforms to Ethereum. And I think a part of it is just the price. You could either get into Cardano with an abundance of promise and just a consistent thing. And here's another thing about Cardano that I'm like, ooh, I wonder, because I don't know, but somebody from Poland recently sent me this big tweet, like a private message in Twitter. And see, the people that aren't watching this right now, because it's not titled as Cardano, are about to miss a gem. You got to watch every video. You're just going to miss out. Dumb. So anyway, this guy sent me he connected a bunch of dots. So for those of you out there, Charles Hoskinson has been making a lot of tweets and a lot of things related to a bird, right? It's all this cryptic stuff about a bird. And the most recent interview that's come out has been, one of the directors of the Africa division of IOHK, and how he's been having a lot of meetings with people. Well, this guy sent me a video clip of an interview that the founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, where he discussed having a meeting related to social media and blockchain technology with somebody high up in the space in Ethiopia. I'm not here to start anything, but I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, so in this whole thing, basically the speculation is that Charles there might be something going on between Cardano and Twitter and their new like blue sky decentralized social media effort. Now, I don't know if that's true, but like the way this guy connected the dots, I'm like, that's pretty damn convincing if you ask me. So I don't know. And he kept referencing like these tweets from Charles. So like this bird, here's another bird. Oh, this bird told me, oh, this bird this bird that. And for a while, people were thinking it was me. And I'm like, I don't have anything to do with any of this. I don't know what the hell Charles is talking about with all these birds. But I think he, you know, when you put that stuff out there, especially when you're talking about a very intelligent, very much growing community for Cardano, they're going to start putting things together. And somebody linked up a very convincing, speculative, though convincing, kind of display in my Twitter. I should show it. Hold on. Well, see, I don't want to show it because I don't know if he wants me to like say, I don't want to like out him or anything. So maybe I'll screenshot it and I'll show it in a video tomorrow. But it would be absolutely nuts if there was some sort of announcement coming relating to Cardano in some sort of Twitter effort where they're working together to create a decentralized version of Twitter. Like that would just be stupid. So it's so funny because the people that are watching this video right now, it wasn't, oh, I'll show the, hold on, let me see. Okay, we're live. This people that are like, I only care about the Bitcoin ATMs. They're going to be like, I don't care about no ADA. What's ADA? Hold on. I'm going to pull this up and see if I can play the video. Because this is pretty convincing. And it's just one thing. Hold on. Let me see. Is this... Yeah. I don't think there's a way... Hold on. Let me see something. Copy message. Maybe I can copy it. Hold on. You know what I can do maybe? Oh, that's messages media. I don't know how to do this. I don't even really use Twitter that much. I don't even have many maybe you can hear it at least. Hold on. You can hear it and it's Jack Dorsey talking. Hold on, pause. Dang it. Cuz this is crazy. This is a video of Jack Dorsey talking. It looks like he's talking to people, but you don't see anybody but him. I'll at least play the audio. Because I'm not going to show it because I don't know if this guy wants to be outed on Twitter. But here it is.
I was meeting with an entrepreneur in Ethiopia, and payments is probably the #1 problem to solve across the continent, both in terms of moving money across borders between nations on the continent, or the amount of corruption within the current system. But the lack of easy ways to pay people makes starting anything really difficult. I met an entrepreneur who, I was meeting with an entrepreneur in Ethiopia, and
yeah, see, I totally wasn't prepared to do this, so I don't know. If you got it and you heard it, cool. But he basically talks about meeting with an entrepreneur in Ethiopia recently and discussing blockchain. I'll prepare something in a future video. How about that? But it's there, and somebody sent it to me. I never would have found that. I never would have seen it on my own, so I was very grateful. Yeah, I was muted. I'm not muted now. So anyway, I'll prepare something maybe tomorrow. So, but and I'll ask him if this guy says it's cool that I show his Twitter handle and stuff and show the messages on my channel, and I'm happy to. I'll show the whole chain because he does a really good job. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what's happening. I mean, it really doesn't because we just don't know. But it looked kind of convincing to me. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All right, now we're gonna get to the whole point of this video. You know, I started out, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago. I don't even know how long it's been. And I decided I wanted to start like a Bitcoin ATM business because, like, why not, right? I dabble in everything, and a lot of it's just kind of like a search for answers to understand the different elements, the different facets of the crypto community, the industry as a whole. And I thought, well, I don't have any Bitcoin ATMs. Maybe I'll give it a shot. So I set out on this venture, quite the adventure that it's been, to get some Bitcoin ATMs. And so I was looking all over the place, and I started off with, I went to General Bytes, I went to Bit Access, I went to Lamarusa, I can't remember the name of them. They're out of Portugal. I looked at all the different companies and everything that they were offering, their machines, their pricing, their business models, and so forth. What's up, Jack Martin? And so I went through all of it, and then I went to Alibaba because I thought, okay, well, a lot of these companies are like another company that I talked to. I think it was Chain Analysis, or might have been Chain. I don't remember. Chain Bytes, I think it might have been. They were like the first company I talked to, and the guy I talked to, I was like, no thanks. And I talked about them briefly, and then the owner of that company has since called me, and he's like, hey, I saw your video, and I'm not mad at all because I understand that's how you felt, and he was super cool and actually gave me some tips, which I was most grateful for. But anyway, after everything, I went to Alibaba because I'm like, I could buy these machines for like half or less than the cost that a lot of these companies are trying to sell what apparently look to be the same machines. The problem with that was you can't get any software. So, and then they say, well, this company and that company will sell you software that you can use for your machines. Well, then those companies said, no, we don't sell our software anymore. It's too much of a problem. And so it was just a cluster, right? So after going through and talking to the different companies and so forth, I actually ended up settling on Bit Access. All right. Now, this isn't necessarily an endorsement to them because I still haven't used the machines. I'm just going to be upfront with you. I haven't even placed them in locations yet, so I don't know how well they function or how well they break down. I don't know. There are still a lot of things I don't yet know. All right. But I did settle on Bit Access, and I started with 4 machines. What I will also say is they have been very, very helpful. I've been talking to a guy, Philip, he's helped with all kinds of stuff through and through, from shipping the machines to name it. He's been very cool, very helpful. Shipping of these machines cost $9,000. Actually, I think it was more than that. I think it was closer to 12. So when you're buying these machines, and if you talk to China, you talk to anybody, they're going to tell you, oh, it's going to be $450, whatever. Bull. It's not. And since COVID, all of that has changed. So shipping this stuff, you can either ship it, you can ship it cheaper, but you're going to get them like forever. You're like, who knows when you'll actually get the things. If you go with shipping them by air, you'll get them in like a couple weeks, but it's expensive, super expensive. So know that going in. No joke. I was shocked. So I went with these guys. Now the machines that I got are these. They're like $6,000 a pop. They're the BTM SE. This is the model. This is what I went with. It's got pretty much everything you need. Outside of this, it also has the 6mm rolled steel vault, and mine actually have some other stuff because these are set up. My machines I could do 2-way. I could do buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin, but I'm only going to do sell Bitcoin because it adds a whole nother layer of complexity with compliance and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with all of that. I'm just going one way on these machines. And if for whatever reason someday I want to do 2-way, maybe I will. But you have to have, so there's a couple different things about like your pickups. One, you can either use a service like a Brinks or like an armored car pickup, at which point they charge you They charge you a certain amount, pretty much all the, like every time you do something, and you have to have routes, and it's like, that's a whole other complicated mess. And in order to hire somebody like that, you have to have what are called auditable locks, which are basically ways that they can prove this is how much was in here at the time, this is how much we pulled out, this and that. That way they can be accountable, and everything is basically kept track of. So before I get into the banking side of things, well, you know what, I'll just go into the banking side of things. So, but those are the machines I got. And now this is like the only company, if you go and you try to get a bank account for an ATM or like a Bitcoin ATM type deal, forget it. It's not happening. Flat out not happening. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter nothing matters, doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just telling you as clearly as I can. If they hear crypto or Bitcoin and ATM in the same sentence, you might as well bend over and just kiss that opportunity goodbye as they kick your ass right out the door, because they don't want it. They consider this, for whatever reason, they consider this very high risk. Okay. And it's insane. So, but there is a company called Bankline. Now, I've been working with Andy at Bankline, not necessarily for Bankline, because in order for these guys to work with you on your Bitcoin ATM business, you need to be doing $500,000 a month in volume on your machines first. Otherwise, they're not going to really bother with you. But apparently, these guys handle like 80-something% of the total volume of all of the Bitcoin ATM operators. However, they have basically connected me with I don't know if it's a partner service or what, but it's a pretty new service, and it was established by some of the biggest banking people out there, specifically for new Bitcoin ATM operators. And I will announce that at a later date, because I haven't started the relationship officially yet. What I will say is, this will allow people to basically send their cash to the bank, at which point they will convert it back into Bitcoin and throw it back on your wallet within like 24 hours or something. So, and it's all, you have to insure it. There's a process to it, and there are things you have to do. But ultimately, it's like the way that a lot of these companies are going now, because A, it's easier, B, it eliminates some steps in terms of having to, like, okay, well, I have the cash, I'm gonna put it in this bank account, transfer it here, then I got to send it to the exchange, then I have to buy the Bitcoin manually myself, put it back up. It eliminates a lot of the BS. So no, these guys are, I mean, to my knowledge, everything I've seen, these guys are all legit. And the thing of it is that in this industry, a lot of these guys seem to know each other. So anyway, but in order to do this, in order to even get this far, you have to, have a compliance officer, okay? This is BitSource AML. Todd is a compliance officer. And he's super, super nice, super helpful. This is Todd. He is my compliance officer, okay? And there's the link to the article, and then there's a link to his website. But you've got his history here, like where he's worked as a compliance officer. But this is basically what he does full time. Being a compliance officer is no small deal. Like this is no small deal. Because if something goes wrong, he's basically to blame, because his job ultimately is to monitor the overall business and make sure that there's nothing fraudulent, make sure everything stays compliant. If there's any suspicious activity or anything like that, he flags it, reports it, handles that process. He does all that stuff. So it's actually very cool. And if something doesn't happen, it's basically his butt, because that's his whole job, is to make sure that everything stays on the up and up, compliant, and so forth. So, he charges $500 a month minimum. And then it's like $100 or so for each additional machine if you grow a fleet over time. and he just monitors everything, and he's been insanely helpful. And the other thing you have to do, keep in mind, I've been doing all this for months. I'm saving you guys so much headache, just pointing you right to the things that I've spent so much time finding. This is BitAML. Because before you even talk about a banking relationship with anybody, okay, you have to have an AML KYC policies and procedures playbook. All right. So BitAML, Joe is the attorney over here, and he's the one that, there's Joe. He basically wrote my entire AML KYC policies and procedures, because they have to, there's no template for this, in the sense that it has to be relevant to the state you're planning to operate. So if it's going to be a multi-state operation, perhaps you live in a tri-state, so you can potentially put your ATMs anywhere within a tri-state. Your policies and procedures have to reflect that. This service, okay, was not cheap. He did an amazing job. I have so much stuff. The banks require it. Anybody you do business with is going to require it. There are places you could go that are cheaper, but they're very cookie cutter, very not anywhere near as good, apparently. And I've talked to so many different people about this. And this man right here is like the grand poobah. His work is gold. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves him. He's a well-connected guy. He's basically, but the service is $4,500. Another 4,500 smackaroos to get this whole policies and procedures book done. Then, as a part of all of that, you gotta go and register with FinCEN. You basically have to announce the fact that you are operating these ATMs. This is what you're doing. This is who you are. This is my compliance officer. And your compliance officer, or Todd, or whoever it is, will be able to help guide you through a lot of this. Because it was not, honestly, it wasn't that, I mean, it was a matter of basically filling out some forms. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but understanding what they were wanting in some cases, I needed to ask, like, hey, what is this? What are they wanting here? And so that is that, okay? Like, basically, once you've done all of these things, you have your machines, you have all this stuff, you've got your policies, you've got your compliance officer, you have your banking relationship ready to go. Then you have to place the machines. Okay. Now, this is where things get a little shady. And I'm betting the majority of you have no idea that this is going on. So what I've discovered is, so there's a location, there's a BP pretty close to where I used to live. And I got these guys interested in crypto. I mean, they're an Indian family, and they all I think they own and work the BP. And, I was there pretty much every day, you know what I mean? And my wife was, and my kids, and like, we all became friends, and I got them into crypto a couple years ago, several years, no, more than that. It's probably 5 years ago now. But anyway, and I joked with him one day, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a Bitcoin ATM business, and, would you let me put one in here? And he's like, you bring it, I put it up, no problem, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So like a year goes by, and I end up stopping back in, and he's got a Bitcoin ATM in there. And I'm like, well, son of a gun. And I'm like, how are you liking it? How are you doing? And he's like, oh, it's great. He's super happy about everything. And come to find out, the ATM only charges 6%. So if you look them up on Coin ATM Radar, they only charge a 6% transaction fee. Apparently, they're paying him 4%. And I'm thinking, how is this not, how does this work? With the ebbs and flows of the market, with everything else, how are you risking it all for a 2% transaction fee? It doesn't make any sense. And so I looked him up. Well, a tip that I got from someone else pointed me in the right direction. And then a friend of mine showed me. He said, I'm at a Bitcoin ATM machine right now. It's showing the price at $52,300. And I looked, and it was only like $42,300. So basically for one Bitcoin, if the price is 43,000, they're basically saying it's 53,000. So they're basically jacking up the price of the Bitcoin directly and then adding a 6% fee on top of it. So this is the kind of the ethical, moral question that I have, because I understand two sides of it. From a business perspective, great. You're jacking the price up on a bunch of retail investors that don't have a clue that they're overpaying for the same Bitcoin. Then adding a 6% transaction fee on top of that. And it appears to people who are looking up your machines on Coin ATM Radar or Google My Business that your fees are beating everybody else in the market. Yeah, some of you are seeing, you're realizing I'm dropping some knowledge right here. So, and this is something nobody talks about. And it's the kind of thing that you're not going to learn unless you're in the business. This is why I do this shit, because I want to know what's going on around me when it comes to crypto, right? So yeah, exactly. WTF. So good. I'm glad that this is resonating with people, because I kind of look at it as a big deal. Now, here's the thing. So basically they're coming off as though they're extremely competitive with everyone else in the market, because other guys are charging 10%, 12%, 30% in some cases, and they're labeled as such, but they're not jacking up the actual price of Bitcoin in the system. So how ethical is that? How moral is that? Because ultimately, when you're talking about Bitcoin, let's just say that machine runs for a week, right? So on Monday, it sold Bitcoin at $4,300. Like the market price of Bitcoin was $4,300. But by Sunday, the price had gone up to $55,000, or $43,000 to $55,000. Well, the time it takes for you to get the cash out of the ATM, ship it to your bank or deposit it into your bank or whatever the case may be, and then get that transferred to an exchange from which you're able to replenish the Bitcoin you sold a week ago, there needs to be some kind of buffer there, right? Because unless you're making these deposits and withdrawals and doing that every single day, which also adds up in price or cost, I guess the question is that a fair business model? Because you're basically saying, I have Bitcoin, my price doesn't necessarily reflect what the price is. Like if you went to an exchange and bought it, because on the exchange it's 43 grand. If you want it right here, right now for cash without having to wait 2 weeks, and because that's a thing. Sometimes when you go to a lot of these exchanges, they hold your funds for a week or 2 weeks before you can even buy what you're trying to buy. And when you do buy it, you're getting it at the price of the day you bought it. So if it drops, so if I buy, a full Bitcoin at $43,000 on this exchange after waiting a week or two, the price could be $38,000. Well, I paid $43,000, but I'm only getting this because that's what I paid for it. So you have this very drastic volatility, this ebb and flow to the market. So let me know in the comments below if you think this is kind of an ethical thing, if you understand it, if it should be the practice of Bitcoin ATM operators, or if it's an accepted practice, or if it's not. I don't personally like it, but I understand it. The more I understand about the industry, I almost feel like there should be some sort of buffer there. But to the layman who doesn't know what they're doing or even really what they're buying outside of, they just see everybody Bitcoin, they see an ATM and they decide to throw $100. Well, that not. And if it's disclosed, how should it be disclosed? So I call me a purist, but if I did something like that, I feel like I would need to make sure there's a big disclaimer, like right there, this is higher than the market price of Bitcoin to cover volatility and expenses or something. I don't know, but you don't see a lot of that. And I don't like business that way. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at so far in the grand scheme of launching a Bitcoin ATM business. It's a 30-minute video. So, yeah, saw a billboard on N75 yesterday for Bitcoin ATMs. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more to it. Lagging. One of your kids is on the PlayStation again, probably. Who knows? Might be my daughter. My 8-year-old daughter shoots these movies where she plays all the roles. And they're actually really funny. But yeah, she does. She's really big on that. So anyway, that's basically it. Hopefully this helps you. I know we got a little bit of a late start to it. But yeah, I mean, I'm going through bid access. I've got all of this other stuff done and lined up. The next part is locating these locations, getting them locked down in these locations and starting them off. So there'll be a part 3 coming where I'll fill you in on everything between now and then. So hopefully that helps you. And what is today? I don't even remember. Every day runs together. It's Thursday. Cool. So we're getting close to the weekend. Crow, Twitter rumors seem true. Go to Charles Hoskinson's last AMA and skip to 149.38 and you will get the answer. Okay. The story unfolds. All right. So let me take a quick look real quick and see what Cardano's at. Okay. It's at 95 cents. It's at 95 cents. ADA, baby. ADA, polka dot. I got me some polka dot too. I'm not gonna lie, got a little polka dot in there. Got me some Divi tokens. Because I've seen their wallet. I've seen the new Divi wallet and used it, and it's sick. I mean, I think honestly, when the Divi wallet finally launches, whenever the hell that's coming, it's going to catch some people by surprise because the wallet's badass. I'm not gonna lie. You're going to be able to send crypto from person to person directly with a username, not a big 80 key string address, and that's just going to change that's going to change so much. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to kind of educate a little bit on what's been going on with the Bitcoin ATMs, and anybody out there, hopefully answer some questions. $1 ADA tomorrow. I'd like to see $1 ADA by the end of this evening, honestly. I mean, we've got 5 cents to go. Who's going to pump it? Somebody out there is going to go buy some ADA using Ethereum, and it's going to drop Ethereum's price a tad, and it's going to bump ADA that much more, and we're going to break $1 tonight. That's what I think, but I haven't even looked at the chart yet today because I've been busy. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Leave your comments below, and also, as always, be wary of the people pretending to be me in my own YouTube videos in the comments, because those guys are fake. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for joining me.